Okay, resetters, Dr. Mindy here, and I want to discuss what we're going to go over in our Rushing Woman book study. And the first thing I want to just let you know is this is over the next week and a half as I go through this book, it's not just for women. And let me kind of back up a step. So I've been really fascinated lately about what our body is doing with the amount of physical, emotional, and chemical stress that we are under in just by living in today's age. Doesn't matter if you live on a farm, doesn't matter if you live in the city, doesn't matter if you're a stay-at-home parent, doesn't matter if you have an 80-hour-a-week working life. Our body is having to adapt to the environment that we are currently living in. So one of the reasons why I absolutely love the Rushing Woman Syndrome book was that it really brings to light that our hormonal system, our nervous system is programmed for 15,000 years ago. It wasn't programmed for 2018. So many of the conditions that you guys are showing up with, everything from fatigue to weight loss resistance to brain fog, much of that is because you're living with a hormonal system that was built to handle problems of 18,000 years ago or 15,000 years ago. So we're going to break that down and what do you do? How do you live in this day and age? The other book that really has blowing my mind is this particular book here, and it's called Accessing the Vagus Nerve. So recently, a good friend of mine brought to my attention that what we're now seeing because of the levels of stress, we are starting to see that there's a whole new nervous system that's forming. So a lot of you have told me about how you constantly feel like you're in that fight or flight, where your body's in that kind of locked, shut down mode. Well, guess what? When you stay in fight or flight for so long, what ends up happening is that you actually move into a whole nother defense nervous system that's forming, and it's called the freeze nervous system, where we get so bombarded, same concept as Libby Weaver in here, we get so bombarded with physical, emotional, and chemical stress that we start to disassociate, we back away, we get hopeless, we start saying, I can't. Things like that start to throw us into a whole nother defense nervous system. So as I work with patients, as I see people online reach out to me and ask me questions about what do I do with my sugar cravings and how do I handle the constant fatigue and my brain's not working right and I can't lose weight, all those things, chronic pain, all those things that are showing up, there's an underlying theme, and that's that you're living in a body that wasn't prepared to handle this level of stress. So, instead of being hopeless, instead of throwing your hands up in the air and going, screw it, what can I do? What I'm hoping to do as we go through this book, and I'm going to add some of this book in, is give you tools. I want to break it down and help you understand why your hormones may be off because you're so rushing, and why your pain may not be going away because you're in this defense nervous system. I want to break it down. I want to show you what's happening to your hormones, your nervous system, your digestion, but then I want to move into the solution. So I'm going to definitely it's going to take me about a week, maybe a week and a half to go through all of this. I will do the same thing that I did with the obesity code, where I will give you page numbers as I reference them. Most of it's going to be coming from here. If I throw some extra little tools in, there's a lot of cool exercises in this book, I will reference that as well. So every day I will bring some new concepts to you, and 3 times a week I will be doing a Facebook Live on those concepts. What's really helpful for me is to know what concepts you're resonating with, to know what concepts hook you up, like if you disagree with them, great, I want to know that too. And what you need to know, like, if I comment something about your adrenal glands being an issue, not with your adrenal glands, but maybe it's an issue with something going on in your brain, and you don't understand the complexities of that, say it, put it in the comments. I want to know, because I do these book studies for you. I see the comments you guys make on this page. I feel the pain that many of you are going through, and I want to make sure that you get the solutions you need out of these 2 books. So if you're reading this book, I know a lot of you guys started getting it, just start reading it. I'll be referencing pages over the next week. And as we go through this, as questions come up, just be sure you reach out. I'm super excited for this because I think that we live in this time right now where we don't realize what we're living in wasn't built for this environment that we're living in and day out. And what we can change that, we just need a better tool set, and that's what I'm hoping to give you over the next week and a half. Okay? If you have any questions, put it in the comment section. If this resonates with you, let me know. Again, I'm doing this for you, so the more feedback you give me, the more I can customize it to the needs that you might have. So, and welcome to all the new resetters. We got a ton of you guys, and I read when you come in and you put your questions and what your needs are and what your health challenges are. I read all of those personally. I read them all. And so I love it when I get feedback from you and I know what you're looking for. I want to make sure that you find it here in this group. So, as always, I love being on this journey with you, and I hope this book study helps.